Following the completion of the synchronization, you will then need to go and reconcile your rental invoices with the live bank feed that you can get into Xero. So the first thing you need to do is open Xero in another tab and access it like so. This is the Xero dashboard, and the majority of your work in Xero will take place in this section where it says reconcile 24 items. Using the example of Johnny Smith, our tenant, you may remember that I added a rental invoice for the 1st of August for £500. So I'm going to scroll down to a payment of £500, albeit it was made on the 15th of August, and I'm going to match it with Johnny Smith's rental invoice. Now we can see that Xero has automatically attempted to match it with a different transaction, and oftentimes this may be the case that the transaction it attempts to match it with is wrong. If this is the case, you select the option that says Find and Match, and you can search for the name of the tenant. So for this example, it's Johnny Smith. I've now pulled up his deposit invoice and his rental invoice, which we will reconcile. We do this by ticking the box here and then pressing the OK button. The next time you run a sync, this will now link back into Arthur. Another thing worth noting is if tenants either underpay you or overpay you rent, and we'll go through both those examples here. If a tenant is to underpay rent, when using Find and Match, you can select the invoice that they have underpaid. So for example, I might choose this £1,330 transaction, and to show that they've only partly paid it, I tick this line here that says Split. This will now separate the invoice into two parts, one for £1,254 and one for £76. And I can now reconcile the part payment with part of the invoice. The other situation that you may encounter is if a tenant overpays, in which case you tick the box that says Find and Match, you select the invoice where the tenant has overpaid, and to receive the overpayment, you press the button that says New Transaction, and you choose the option that says Receive Money. Always remember that when using Arthur, you need to change this Received As field from direct payment to overpayment, no matter the type of transaction you're trying to sync back into Arthur. In the From field, you select the tenant you are trying to link that overpayment to. The description can be changed to whatever makes sense to you. For example, if it is an overpayment of rent, you might use the description to say overpayment of rent. The amount should automatically change to the value of the overpayment, and the units and properties fields need just to be filled in with the unit and the property that they occupy in Arthur. For example, if the tenant was occupying room 112 Orange Way, I would select the unit for room 112 Orange Way and the property for Orange Way. I will then save this transaction. Now I'm able to match the bank statement line with the invoice for £70 and the overpayment of £5. Having done this, I now need to run another sync for those payments to sync back into Xero. So I'll go back into Arthur, go to Financials, go to Xero screen, press Synchronize with Xero, and then press the button that will appear that says Synchronize. The sync is now running, and all this data will now move back into Arthur.